Hello, guys, and welcome to another edition of All NBA 24/7. I'm your host, Rishi Kapoor. On tonight's episode 47, I'm going to be discussing with you guys who I believe is the greatest power forward of all time. So, names that come to mind are obviously Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan, Karl Malone, Charles Barkley. Um, Hakeem Olajuwon played the power forward for a bit, but but he was more of a center. um, but those four main guys, are these guys that come to mind that can have that title. And out of those four guys, I believe that well, first of all, before I say that, I mean, each of them accomplished a whole hell of a lot in the NBA. Karl Malone was a two-time, MVP of the league. Scored over 36,000 points. Charles Barkley was a former MVP, All-Star Game MVP. Just was a monster. Scored over 24,000 points, grabbed over 11,000 rebounds. It was really, he played the power forward position being undersized. So I really, really respect him, because he was in there with giants and he rebounded the ball and jumped up over all of them. Kevin Garnett, former, sorry, it's clean my throat. Former MVP, former All Star Game MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, the big ticket. Scored over 25,000 points, grabbed over 12,000 rebounds. He had a great, great career, and was one of the most fiercest competitors in the NBA. And then there's Tim Duncan. 5 NBA championships he won, and sorry, Kevin Garnett is also an NBA champion. The most important thing I forgot to say. And then there's Tim Duncan, 5 NBA championships, 2 MVPs, 3 Finals MVPs. He just had one of the greatest careers of all time, and was really fundamentally sound and made the game look very easy. He had that bank shot, and was just very fundamentally sound and smart basketball player. And he scored over 26,000 points himself, grabbed over, I believe, 12,000 rebounds, 3,000 blocks. I mean, this guy just did it all. And because of his accomplishments and what he achieved, because we got to go based off accomplishments, over a resume, I got to say that Tim Duncan is the greatest power forward of all time. He is, he is worldwide recognized as the greatest power forward of all time. And when people discuss, hey, who's your all-time starting five, he's always at the power forward position, most likely. And his is because of his career, though. His career and what he achieved in the NBA was just so great. He was the ultimate team player. The Spurs won 50 plus wins each and every season he was with the team. Um, you know, and uh, and he just accomplished a lot. He won a championship in 1999, 2003, 2005, 2007, and as well in 2014 as well. And um, he would have had a sixth championship, obviously, in the 2013 finals. I mean, the Heat fans are damn near leaving the arena, but obviously Ray Allen hit that clutch three, and Chris Bosh grabbed that rebound. But on that sequence, Tim Duncan wasn't in the game. I don't know why Greg Popovich didn't have him in there, but I can't question the five-time champion and Greg Popovich. I mean, you can't question one of the greatest coaches of all time with that decision. But I feel like if Tim Duncan, though, was in that game, Chris Bosh wouldn't have grabbed that rebound. He would have boxed Chris Bosh out, and that play would have never happened. And I believe that Tim Duncan would be here with 6 rings. Or you never know. He would have won the championship in 2013, and they might have never went back to back, because the Spurs never went back to back and never had a three-peat during Tim Duncan's era. But he is the greatest San Antonio Spur of all time, one of the greatest players of all time, and the greatest power forward of all time, in my opinion. And it was just really also a never really heard his name in the media at all either. Never heard his name in gossip or or the tabloids. Had the most professional and clean career. Even when he was going through his divorce, it was always on the down low. It wasn't really out there and stuff. He never let that distract him. And he's, I think, the most egoless superstar of all time. He was just a team guy. And he wouldn't There was reported that if Greg Popovich, this was said at his jersey retirement, whenever Greg Popovich would yell at him, he would sit there and take it because he was sending a message to the rest of his teammates that, hey, if I can take it, you guys can take it. But he would obviously in private speak to Greg Popovich. So, um, just the level of consistency. The Spurs reach in the playoffs every year, 50 plus wins, just the standard barrier of excellence. I mean, he has one of the most perfect and untouchable resumes of all time, and yeah, that is why I believe he's the greatest power forward of all time. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know in the comment section below, who do you believe is the greatest power forward of all time? Whether or not you agree with me or disagree, let me know who you think. Don't be biased. Give me legitimate explanations. And I look forward to reading your comments, guys. The NBA season is almost here. Preseason is 2 days away. Got a lot more content that I'm going to be making. Stay tuned, guys, and I'll see you guys next time.